The 6 phases of ascension to 5D. This is video number 4 in the series. This is a proven 6-step process to shifting yourself to 5D. It'll teach you how to permanently transform your limited, matrix-trapped 3D self into your higher 5D self. Hi, this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard. This is the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. And here I give you practical, real-world tools and hacks to completely transform your life. I'm not here to talk. I am here to shift and to change. If you are ready and if you are willing to do whatever it takes, I can give you the tools to do what I am doing. And as I've said before, I'm going through this shift. Everything that I'm teaching to you, it's because I've done it. I don't teach something that I don't have personal experience in. So if I'm teaching it, it means that I've done it, I've proven it to myself, and it works. I am here to tell you that I am, in fact, going through a shift. I am shifting up to 5D. And if you want to follow me, these are the techniques that I am using, and I offer them to you as well. So the 6 phases, we've already talked about the first one and the second one, but let's get ourselves up to speed here. What are the 6 phases of shifting from 3D to 5D? First one is identify limiting 3D false ego traps in your psyche. Number 2, overcoming 3D false ego survival mechanisms. Number 3, initiating transfer of your 5D self into your current 3D psyche. Number 4, exploring your limiting 3D programs that still exist in your unconscious mind. Number 5, preparing 3D limiting programs for permanent deletion. And number 6, deleting your 3D limiting programs and making room for 5D higher self download. So those are the 6 phases that, at least the first 6 that you have to go through just to get the process going and have the change start to take effect. We're only dealing with right now the first 3. I've already talked about the first 2, which is number 1, identifying limiting 3D false ego traps in your psyche. That, unfortunately, is the most difficult barrier for people to get past, because that first phase means that you have to come to a complete realization that you are incapable with your 3D tools to shift into 5D. You cannot escape the matrix by using the matrix. That's basically what people are doing. They're trying to think their way out of it. You can go on and watch as many videos as you want. You can listen to as many spiritual teachers, coaches, gurus, and all of that talk doesn't give you the ability to shift, because you're using your 3D brain, you're using your 3D emotions. Again, we're talking again about the law of attraction, which it doesn't work, to shift to 5D, because the law of attraction is using 3D tools, your emotions, your thoughts, your states of mind. All of these things are products of your programming, your 3D programming. But we are programmed in 3D to use these things in order to function. But you can't use the 3rd dimension to exit the 3rd dimension. Just like a crazy person can't use their broken mind to think clearly. You can only use what you have access to. So most difficult, most challenging phase is coming to the realization on the deepest level that you do not have the tools in and of yourself, that your 3D self, even though you want to exit 3D, your 3D self can't do it. So that brings us to the second phase. The second phase is overcoming 3D false ego survival mechanisms. So your 3D survival mechanisms are going to try and, first outright frighten you out of shifting from 3D to 5D, because it will be an ego death. No two ways about it. Not only will it be an ego death, but your whole understanding of reality is going to come crashing down. And so your reality is like your your operating system. So you got to get rid of your operating system. If your operating system is what you need to operate, it's going to be frightening. Your brain is going to come up with all kinds of ways to keep you from going through this process. So in the second phase, you have to overcome these false ego survival mechanisms. How do you do that? The way that you do that, since you've gone through phase one, which is that you have come to a realization on the deepest part of yourself that you cannot change your 3D self with your 3D tools. Once you've accepted that, you might feel, kind of hopeless. So in the second phase, you start finding where the hope is. The hope is not in your 3D self. The hope of you getting to 5D is in your 5D self. And as we've said before, your 5D self is you without all of the 3D programming. So your 5D self is there and wants to help you. It is you. And you can access it. But you have to first accept that only your 5D self has the ability to change you and shift you and direct your life in ways that your 3D brain won't be able to understand. Okay, so that's the second part, is overcoming the limiting factors that try and talk you out of this process. And now that you've accepted you can't change your 3D reality with your 3D tools, you now begin to allow yourself to have hope. And you start the process of turning your understanding over to your 5D self so that it can do the work for you. Now, by this stage, you will probably start feeling like you're losing your mind. Because in fact you are. You're losing your 3D control operating system. So now we've got to get to a place where we can actually have the experience where we are going through life, watching ourselves shift and change because our 5D self is now in control of what is going on. And we have entrusted that to our 5D self. And then we allow that to take over. So phase 3, we initiate transfer of 5D self into our current 3D psyche. That's like a download. So this is where the download begins. And here you do the exercises that I teach here in the Interdimensional Meditation course. You do the exercises where you tap into your higher self. And I will be giving that out to people who are prepared to actually go through this process with me. I will give you the actual specific tools that I use. You can directly access and have communication with your 5D higher self. And by starting that interaction, you will then begin the process of allowing that part of you to download into you. So imagine that. Your unlimited 5D self downloads into you. Now that means that a lot of your 3D self is going to have to go away because we got two different operating systems here. So again, this is a process. But once this happens, it means that you have unplugged yourself from your 3D brain and all of its ridiculous, nonsensical justifications for staying miserable and limited. You've now unplugged from that. You're now plugging directly into your 5D self. Your 5D self is now going to be giving you stronger connections to your intuition, stronger connections to your true soul desire. You are going to start to have a clearer idea of where to go and what to do. If you have to make some drastic changes in your life, which, as I've said, in order to change yourself completely, you have to change your actions. And sometimes those actions are going to be in direct opposition to everything that your brain and your unconscious mind is going to try and tell you to do. So in this process, now you start to get new information. You have a new operating system that's beginning to come in and take over yourself, which is really you start to feel more in power, but at the same time, life starts to work for you in mysterious ways. Things start to happen out of nowhere. Why is that? Because, as we've said, your 3D self is living in a holographic projection. And it means that your experience of 3D, even if you have a 5D connection, your experience of 3D is going to feel like it's happening right now in the moment. But the truth is, it's just simply a memory. You're reliving a memory that is being played back to you by your brain. That is the third dimension. So what will happen now is your 5D self isn't trapped in linear 3D space-time. That's the fourth dimension, is time. Your 5D self is beyond that. Your 5D self is sitting, imagine, at a control panel with an infinite number of TV screens around him or her. And now that your 5D self is in control, you are saying to your 5D self, I don't know how to live my life, but you do. So you help me take the actions, change things in my life, and give me the intuitions. And so you will start acting differently. You will be choosing to act in ways that you haven't acted before. You will have more faith in yourself. You will have more self-confidence. You will have an intuitive knowing of where to go. And you'll just take actions not knowing where they're going to take you or what's going to happen as a result. You'll just be going in the flow of your soul. But your 5D self is actually looking at every single timeline possibility, because in the fifth dimension, everything is a probability. And your 5D self is looking at, okay, if you take this action, then these are the possible outcomes of that. And if you keep going in this direction, and then your 5D self can see you in your happiest 3D reality. And so your 5D self is watching it, giving you the message, giving you the power, changing things, going ahead of you in time, creating synchronicities for you. See what I mean? You have turned over control of your 3D journey to your 5D self. You, of course, as I said, you are going to get intuitions. You will have to take some actions and make some choices, but you won't be relying on your old 3D operating system, which is designed to keep you trapped. So this is phase 3, initiating the transfer of 5D self into your current 3D psyche. This is when things start to get interesting, and this is when reality for you completely starts to change, and you start to see and experience and feel on multiple levels what reality is. And it's nothing like what we've been told or what we have experienced up until this point. All right? So that's it. So that's phase number 3. And again, I have created, if you see on the bottom here, a 6-month Ascension apprenticeship program. There's only 10 slots available. Why is that? Because I can sit here and talk about this, and I want you to watch it, and maybe you can listen to it and you can take what I'm saying and you can go implement it. Maybe you can. And if you can, my hair is off to you. I wish you nothing but luck. But for those of you who are listening to this, you want to know, well, how do I do that? Well, it has to be tailored to you specifically. So one of the things that I have always done in my apprenticeship work, in my counseling, is, any teacher can do this, by the way, I have an ability to tap into my higher self that taps into your higher self. And what will come to me is I will start to begin asking you important questions. These questions allow you to look through and see what the real root causes is, what the root causes are of your programming. And remember, your programming dictates your feelings, your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, your assumptions. It dictates everything. So you think you know who you are, but the truth is you have almost no clue. About 80% of everything you do is happening on an unconscious level, the program. So I know how to ask certain questions to find out what's really going on with your programming, and then I can tailor specific homework assignments for you so that you can shift. So we're going to have 6 sessions. So the apprenticeship program only lasts for 6 months. It's an intensive. And I will be giving you specific tools for you and specific actions and homework assignments for you. And at the end of that 6 weeks, at the very least, you will have a blueprint for yourself to get through at least that first 6 phase of transfer over to 5D. So if you're interested in that, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the 6-month Ascension Apprenticeship Program. And if you do, you will have access to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. And the Warrior 90-Day Challenge is the most powerful energy practice in the history of mankind. There's nobody in the world that has ever taught all 3 of these energy sources. Qigong, the most powerful Qigong energy practices on the planet, the Mao Shan. Kundalini, we tap you into the 5D consciousness energy of Kundalini. And 3, we tap into the heart-mind energy, the Shin, which is the lightning center of the heart, which destroys negativity and gives you the power to overcome your fears, your blocks, so that you have the ability to take that contrary action and to rocket yourself into the 5th dimension. And that is just the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. You'll have access to that. You'll have access to the Interdimensional Meditation course, which is continuing to grow. And I give you guided meditations so that you can tap into various beings of light and connect to them. That's where the real power is, connecting to them. You'll also have access to the Manifestation Mastery course, which teaches you how to use the matrix like a vending machine. You can just flip the switch on and off to get what you need to go in the direction that you need to go. And then, of course, you'll have access to the Mastery of Shamanism course. All of that. And if you become the 6-month apprentice, you'll have access to that on top of all the things that I just mentioned. So go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe at whatever level works for you. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. You know, you're only committing to 1 month at a time. So just talking about the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, it's the price of a video game. And, you know, like I said, I'm being honest with you. I know it sounds grandiose, but I do not know of anything that is as powerful as what I'm teaching. So you got nothing to lose. Give it a try. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. What have you lost? You've lost 1 video game for a month. You can wait, get another video game next month. Go back to whatever it is that you were doing, if that's what you want to do. All right, that's it, my friends. Remember, Interdimensional Revolution at you can find on Kindle and Amazon and Audible. You can go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com to see all my books, including Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, Odin Says Jesus Was a Coward, and the Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life, which will teach you how to tap into your true soul desire. Very important. You need that. Those are the tools that you need. All right, that's it. I wish you guys all the best. If you have a question about any of this, and I like your question, you can put it in the video comment section and I'll make a video about it. That's it for me, guys. I wish you all the best. I'll see you all very soon. Take care.